Alright there guys, WooDz here, and we're going to do another video. And the last video was about how to get basically a mobile gig, and today we're going to talk about how to get a club gig. And they are just as difficult as one another, and one isn't more important than the other. It just depends on what you want to do with your business and where you want to go and how you want to be as a DJ. But it does help being separate videos, because I think you have to approach getting into a club in a slightly different way. This is taken from an outsider point of view, because normally you have people who follow the club scene. They get to know the DJ, they get to know the bouncers, they get to know the club, they get to know the managers, they get to know the promoters, and then they'll do the odd private party for a friend or something like that, and then all of a sudden someone will give them a phone call and say, listen, can you play for us at the weekend? And of course you'll just jump at the chance and do it. And this is going to be done a slightly different way, because this is how I managed to get my club gig. First of all, you need to think about what genre of music that you want to play, and you also need to think about where this music needs to be played. So it's a waste of time going to the high-flying, best stylish club in town if you're going to play a load of rock music, because the venue just doesn't match the type of music that you're going to play. You also need to think about, am I just going to be a top 40 DJ, or am I going to go into house? Am I going to play dubstep? Am I going to play new funk? So this is very important to think about what type of music that you want to play out to people, because it also sort of underlines an expectation about what is going to be required from you as a DJ. The next thing you need to do is create interest, and in the past it was a said thing that what you done was a hour-long mixtape, and then you sent that off to hundreds of people in the hope that they would say, oh, that's fantastic, and give you a call, and you'd be in. The situation today is managers are very busy. Most clubs seem to be working very well. They work very profitable, and they already have DJs in them. So once you've worked out what music you want to play, you then have to be one step beyond what is currently out there on the market, and that's where your technique and your skills come in, because you need to offer something that the club doesn't have, which is quite difficult today, because with promoters and everything, then they are tending to bring in outside talent. However, it does carry a certain element of risk, and to bring a prominent name into a club does cost a lot of money, whereas you, being the local boy or girl, are going to be relatively cheap. And if you have a lot of contacts, then it means to say that you can bring in a crowd as well. And that doesn't necessarily mean to say that you have to be the best beat mixer in the world, but what it does mean is that you still have to be good enough to mix, to create a program, and to fulfill the wishes of the club, which, yes, they want people to have an enjoyable time, but most important, they need to make money. You need to be able to send people to the bar, and you need to be able to keep people on the dance floor. So how are you going to go and do this? Well, you do need to get their attention, and one of the best ways to do it is to create a CD with 3 tracks on it. One of them is going to be about 5 minutes long. The next track is going to be about 15 minutes to 20 minutes long, and the third track is going to be about 40 minutes long. What you're going to do with these 3 tracks is, with the very first one, you're going to give them a bursting intro. Managers are not interested in hearing music, they want to know, can you mix? So that's what your 5-minute mix is going to be about. Don't make it 10 minutes, make it 5 or 6 minutes long, and you're going to try and cram in as many mixes as you possibly can in that time. It has to flow, it has to cut, and it has to generate energy, and it also, most importantly, has to capture the person listening to it, has to capture their attention. Once you've got their attention, you then move on to the second track. The second track then goes a little bit further. You might want to start putting loops in, you might want to start using various effects, but still very snappy. It's still about being high energy and still showing that you are about mixing and not too much about the songs, although it will be advantageous if they are harmonically mixed as well. And third and finally, in your 40-minute mix, which will be on the third track, what you then do is then start to create a bit of a program so that you have a, like a wave of energy, should we say, over the 40 minutes. So if you've captured enough of the person listening to it, the manager or the promoter, if you captured enough of their attention, then they'll then turn themselves to the third track, where they can then start to listen more about how you build a program together. So you have those three things. The next thing as well is that not everyone can listen to a CD, so make your music viable throughout the internet as well. People don't want to download music anymore, they want it streamed. Think of using places like Mixcloud or SoundCloud, and if you do have a website, then direct them to there and make the music streamable as well as downloadable. So just bombarding the whole market with your music is not the most economical way of getting a gig. Think carefully about who your music is going to appeal to, what clubs and in the environment that will actually work in. So you're actually saving yourself time, you're saving time of the person that's going to be listening to it. And also the other thing as well to bear in mind is you are supposed to be different, and you are supposed to be bringing something special to the table. So just to round up and be very quick about it all, when you're producing this mixtape or these mix tracks, as I said, first track 5 minutes, second track about 15 minutes, and a third track about 40 minutes long. And you shouldn't go too wrong with there. And the other thing as well is be patient. Speak to them, introduce yourself, tell them that you have the idea, explain to them what the idea is, go back then after a couple of months and reintroduce yourself. Hopefully they would have remembered you. And then on the third attempt, then speak to them again. If they're not interested, then just take it as that. They're not interested, and their loss and somebody else's gain. Move on to the next club and do the same again. So a bit of a rinse wash, if that's how we're going to put it. Anyway, enough of me. You take care, and we'll see you soon. Alright, bye bye now.